From going face front against the Call of Duty franchise to a Twitter feud with the creator of a whopping $100 million game, here are some moments which left Dr. Disrespect absolutely fuming. Starting with a love story that turned bitter. Dr. Disrespect has been working with the franchise for many years. He often claimed that COD spelled backwards is Doc, so it's in the blood. Well, I guess the blood went cold, as Call of Duty didn't invite Dr. Disrespect to their quote era-defining franchise event where they unveiled MW2. Usually, they bring in all the big-name streamers, so Doc's absence definitely ruffled some feathers. Lucky for us, Doc spilled the beans behind the franchise's decision, saying, "I found out why the 2 times not invited to the Call of Duty next event. They're saying I talk way too much trash about Call of Duty. But seriously, how many folks don't trash talk about it?" At first, he was pretty calm, explaining how he's been showing love to the game for ages and working closely with the franchise. But then he couldn't hold it in any longer and started screaming, telling them to take a look around, calling them a bunch of phonies. Then somebody had the bright idea to suggest that maybe he wasn't invited because he refuses to be a sellout. Doc agreed, saying that it's true and that he'd never sell his soul. Despite all his criticism, Doc made it clear that deep down, Call of Duty still holds the #1 spot for him when it comes to design and gameplay. But he didn't add sound to that list, and for good reason. Remember when things got so heated for Dr. Disrespect, some of us were actually concerned? I mean, he was so fired up that he even lost his sunglasses. The Doc doesn't hold back when it comes to dishing out his opinions about Call of Duty Warzone. And his biggest complaint? The sound, my friend. It drove him crazy. There he was, fighting in the gulag during a stream, and all hell broke loose. Not only did he lose the fight, but his composure went out the window too. His headphones, gone. His sunglasses, gone. It was a complete meltdown. Doc decided to watch the replay of his opponent killing him. And guess what triggered his rage? Yep, you got it, the sound effects. So there he was, fuming like a volcano, screaming at the top of his lungs. "I get nothing. I get absolutely nothing. I don't get any effing information." And in the midst of his fury, his headset took the brunt of it as Doc slammed it into the desk. But that wasn't enough. Oh no, it wasn't. The Doc's head shaking was so intense that his sunglasses went flying, exposing a rare sight: his eyes and eyebrows. The Doc realized he had to quickly regain his composure as he was live on stream, but he needed a 30-second Champions Club commercial to put his face back up in front of the crowd. If you thought that was bad, what about the time when he absolutely lost it at Tim the Tatman? Our favorite streaming duo lost it during a Warzone Caldera session. Now, Tim is usually the cool-headed one, but this time he was fired up and ready to match Doc's initial rage. It all started when Doc found himself in the gulag after biting the dust. And guess who he blamed? Yep, our dear Timmy. Doc was like, "What the heck were you doing? Looting people while I was under enemy fire?" He kept demanding answers, asking Tim why he wasn't there to have his back. And let me tell you, Tim was not having it. He started screaming back saying, "You didn't say a damn thing." The tension was real, but the argument didn't stop there. Doc just wouldn't let it go. He kept insisting that Tim should have been by his side, throwing in a little jab about his kill count being higher than Tim's. The duo kept the fiery debate going throughout the entire game, screaming at the top of their lungs. Can you imagine the fans on the edge of their seats witnessing all that madness? It was pure entertainment. But guess what? The blame game didn't end when the match was over. Oh no, it continued for a solid 5 minutes, leaving everyone in shock. And then, as if on cue, another 30-second Champions Club commercial popped up. Probably Doc's way of reigning his cool, just like he always does. It seems like he's worked out a system. He certainly knows a way of replying to the controversies which surround him 24/7. This one in particular was a little serious, and the tension surrounding his response were through the roof. Yes, I'm talking about the time musician Jimmy Wong called out Doc, accusing him of racist behavior based on some video clips. It was a heavy accusation, and the tension was there. To add fuel to the fire, Wong decided to bring up Doc's personal life, mentioning how he cheated on his wife. That was kind of a low blow. And as expected, Doc didn't stay silent. He fired back, defending himself by saying that some of his best friends were Asian. He wanted to make it clear that he has a diverse circle of friends, and that he grew up in a multicultural environment, attending a great public school where he had friends from various ethnic backgrounds. He even mentioned that his own wife is of Filipino descent. Doc was proud of the diversity in his life, and he didn't hold back in expressing it. In response to Wong's accusations, Doc didn't mince words. He called Wong an idiot, claiming that he was desperate for attention and completely clueless. He even went as far as to suggest that Wong was trapped in a gated community, disconnected from the real world. Doc made it clear that he doesn't pay attention to people like Wong and found the whole allegation laughable. He was supported for the way he handled those allegations. But this next particular time, he didn't find any support at all. He used the word drops in his titles, giving viewers the false impression that he was giving away access keys to Valorant's closed beta. But it didn't take long for eagle-eyed fans to notice the deception. Esports interviewer Travis Gafford called out Dr. Disrespect on Twitter, exposing the fact that his streams weren't actually flagged to drop any keys. The news spread like wildfire, with various outlets and disappointed fans slamming Dr. Disrespect on social media. It was a big controversy, no doubt about it. But leave it to Dr. Disrespect to respond in his own unique way. In true Dr. Disrespect fashion, he finally addressed the situation with his signature flair. He admitted that he should probably man up and face the backlash since a lot of people were upset. But then he dropped the ultimate bombshell, saying, "I would like to officially put out an official response. I don't give an F." Classic. Instead of talking, the video game streamer stared into the camera with his trademark stone-faced expression, as if to challenge anyone who dared to question him. Just when you thought the video had frozen, he finally broke the silence by saying, "You're looking at the best in the business, baby. You think I give an F?" With a brief burst of laughter into the microphone and a dismissive shake of his head, Dr. Disrespect wrapped up the video. This left fans disappointed, as they were getting banned for calling out misleading titles. Honestly, it's not a surprise, since our doc has clashed with fans on many occasions. Dr. Disrespect was having a rough time trying to connect to the Gear 5 servers. It was like a never-ending struggle for him. He just wanted to access those menus, but it seemed like the gaming gods were against him. As the frustration piled up, one fan in the chat had the brilliant idea of suggesting the Xbox beta app again and again. Well, that didn't sit well with Doc at all. He called out the fan, who went by the name Jabroni, and issued a warning. Doc made it clear that if the app wasn't the solution he needed, Jabroni would be kicked out of the prestigious Champions Club. Moments later, the inevitable happened. Doc followed through on his warning and booted Jabroni from the club, showing no mercy whatsoever. Oh, and if you thought it was just fans, wait till you hear about his threat to the creator of PUBG. It all began when the streamer found himself on the receiving end of a temporary ban from Brendan Green, the mastermind behind PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The reason? Well, our streamer here committed the ultimate sin by eliminating his online teammate, a big no-no according to the game's rules. What started as playful banter on Twitter quickly took a sharp turn when the streamer made a rather bold threat towards the developer. He jokingly hinted that if he possessed the incredible ability to perform the splits, he'd roundhouse kick Brendan right in the neck. But since he lacked that level of flexibility, he settled for a front kick to the chest instead. Unfortunately, Brendan didn't quite take the remark as a light-hearted jest. He responded with a serious tone in a now-deleted tweet, suggesting that violence wasn't needed and it might have caused him a panic attack. So, from a Twitter feud with the creator of a whopping $100 million game to going face front against the Call of Duty franchise, these were some moments that left Dr. Disrespect absolutely fuming.